What's up, good people? Ace Dago here, and I just want to go over travel selection 101, uh, part one, because there's so many things that I have to cover, but I want to kind of break it down for y'all. So, the first thing I want to discuss, uh, first and foremost, any questions, please comment below. You can also email me at acedacovlogs@gmail.com. I check my emails every day, so if you're more of a person that want a more direct response, please. I check it every morning. So put it on the amount. I'll get to you as soon as possible. Okay, so the first thing is you definitely want to have experiences. Experience. The more, the better. Reason be when you start traveling, you're going to be at different warehouses every few weeks or however long the assignment's going to be. And you definitely want to just be able to adapt quickly. A lot of these managers are not really going to train you. Once you get to a site, you're going to have like I think they call it a floor manager, depending on the company. It's like the one that your direct supervisor, and you would go through them for things and issues and such, and they'll probably teach you or have get most likely you'll get an employee or somebody that's been there to show you around, but it's not going to be some long term thing because they expect you to know how to select. Um, some things you might definitely need to know is how to run an electric pallet jack, a walkie rider, single, doubles, and plus for a single triples. There's actually triple jacks. I didn't know till the last full time job I worked, they had triple jacks, and I was like, holy crap! And I've driven one of those as well. So I got single, double, and triple jack experience. Definitely do lift, the reach, the OP if you can. Definitely forklifts. I missed out on opportunity because I don't have that experience. You would think as long as I've been selecting, I just never got around to it, and I tried to actually do it, but I had kind of, I wouldn't say crappy management, but they were just taking their time. I had to switch to a whole nother position that I was from the position I was in, and it was taking too long. They really didn't want to promote me, so I just let it go, and I ended up leaving. Another reason why I left like a regular full time job. Plus, you just stay in the same spot, So it's great to get that experience traveling around, but having that experience is great. Try working for multiple warehouses. I would say at the very very least a year, and anything above that is plus. So definitely have experience. I got my little notes so I don't go off topic too much. All right, so next thing, you're ready. You got your experience in. You ready to go out in the world and do this. Um, Research companies. Research. And I also can give y'all a list if you email me as well. With your questions, email me and I can send you a list. I have a list of companies that do this because you'll be going through a staffing agency, and yeah, just know how they operate, like the starting pay, how many weeks they're gonna have you on assignment. Most of them are about the same, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even more. But definitely, have an understanding of that. Um, Try not to put all your eggs in one basket. Like, try to work for different companies and build up a rapport. Build up a good rapport. That way, you can maybe call up the company, be like, "Hey, I'm about done with this contract, and I hop on your thing." And it might be someplace you want to go specifically, and depending on your schedule, which I'm going to discuss about how the hours and days work. You can explore and do whatever you want to do, and everything's paid for, your hotel room and everything. So research your companies and know what you're signing up for, and that pretty much goes in hand in hand with the next topic, is understanding your contract. In part two, I'm gonna upload a contract. I'm gonna redact some information, like personal and such, and I'm gonna show you a contract I signed and completed and what it may look like for you. It's going to be definitely different, but I'm going to show you like what it looks like when you get the pay, your flight information, so y'all can see what it's like. So definitely stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification so you don't miss that, because I'm trying to be as detailed as possible because I see a lot of people want to do this now. So understand your contract. You got to know, first thing first, when you're doing this travel selection, it is not like a normal job. You're going to be considered an independent contractor. You doing a 1099 because you're going to be in different states, and that's about the easiest way to. That is the easiest way to for you to get paid and do your taxes, because you got to pay taxes and shit. So you know, it's not like a normal job. And with that being said, you got to really be a worker. These people will send you home in a heartbeat if you're being lazy, pussyfooting around. Like some people can get away with. We all know that. It's still they were not even doing this. People get away with murder, with being lazy and stuff. But you gotta understand, these people are when they hire you, they're hiring you, and you represent their company, but at the same time you're representing yourself. So make a good report for yourself. And like I said, work with multiple companies. That way you can hit somebody up and be on the other side. Maybe you don't like that site and you want to burn that bridge. You have the option to do so, but you gotta take into consideration you can't work for that company probably no more. They will ban you in a sense, and so remember that. When it comes to different different locations, you gotta remember different locations, different people. Um, One location I went to was horrible. The only people that were nice were the workers, which 9 times out of 10 they are going to be the ones that you're going to be chill with, because they're sticking around for whatever reason. And upper management, they're going to hate your guts for whatever reason. But that's because I'm gonna explain how that works, why that's so in the next topic. But it can be a bit silly, but it's not y'all's fault. Just so y'all know, they need you, so just know that. But they also will fire the fuck out of you if you doing stupid shit. When it comes down back to the contract thing about your hours and days, let's talk about that, because a lot of people bitch about this when I'm on the road. You will get your contract. When you get your contract, they're gonna tell you when you're working and not. Remember, also in the contract it says they can change your schedule at any time. I seen a contract, a posting for a job. They said you work, I think it was like Sunday through Thursday, and you have Friday and Saturday off. Now that sounds great, right? Okay, when you get your contract, it may say the same thing, but then you will find that they can be like, "Oh, you got to work 6 or 7 days sometimes," and it's just how it is. These people, whatever company they need people for it, are gonna work you to death. So get ready for long hours and possibly even working 6 to 7 days a week. This type of work is definitely for the true hustlers. You got to be about your money about this, because if you make it any more than just, oh, the hours are bad, oh, I'm tired in days, you might as well just stick with a regular job, because this ain't for the lighthearted. I'm just telling you what it is. These types of jobs where you're traveling away from home, you can make some serious money with just the hours alone, and then on top of that you get a per diem, and it's just like you can really stack your money if you know what you're doing, and then you come in the mindset of what you need to do minus how you're being treated. You gotta just take it how it is. You sign the contract. The company that you sign the contract with is gonna fulfill their end. You have to fulfill yours. And at the end of the day, this shit is temporary. A lot of people are doing this just to pay off debt. A lot of people do this for so many months and then go on like a little vacation or whatever. Like, you gotta plan out what you want to do and what do you want out of this, because they're gonna work you like a damn dog. But it is what it is. You just got to come in there with a mindset that's about money, and it is what it is. So, when it comes to where you're going to be staying, and it's very important about researching companies, because even in COVID times, some companies will put you in a 2-person room. I haven't experienced this yet, and I definitely look to make sure. Because there was a company out there, I don't remember the name off the top of my head. Even in the height of COVID, we're talking about 2-person rooms, and you definitely just don't want to be in the room with a stranger. And it's all this stuff going on with the pandemic. But I don't see the company, that particular company, that I can't think of the name of, doing that anymore, because they probably got a lot of complaints and people didn't want to work for them. I wouldn't. And yeah, so most of the time, 10 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be in a single occupancy room. But that all depends on you. You don't have to sign this shit on anything you don't agree to. If you don't want to be in a 2-person room, don't do it, regardless of how much money you earn. If I can leave you with any advice, get to go with a company with single occupancy, because there's nothing like coming home from work and trying to decompress and having to talk to somebody. But I'm an extreme introvert, so once I'm done with work stuff, I like to be alone. Then and do what I need to do. So okay, so what's a good topic? Oh, they do check. Now let's talk about these room checks. In my experience, when we have a meeting to meet our coordinators and supervisors and what have you, they would say, "Don't make your business our business." Now it depends on the supervisors and stuff, but a lot of the times they're not going to check your room, like it's because it does say that in the contract, which I'll go over in part 2, that they do room checks. Now about the room checks go like this: in the contract, they're not allowed to touch your things or go through your things. They're only supposed to observe what can be seen, which means they can just look around the room. They can't be touching all over your shit and looking at stuff. And who want to touch anybody's stuff anyways during these times, or just in general. So you know how people hygiene is, But they just visually can look around the room and see what you got going on. They can't touch and like physically search your stuff. So they just keep that in mind. But not as long as you're not doing anything that warrants them having to go in your room and do all this extra shit, they're not really gonna come in your room. Because we're all adults and we all smashing and we're all doing all kinds of crazy shit in our rooms, and who wants anybody and be doing that, babysitting basically. So yeah, just keep that in mind. They may or may not do room checks. It depends on the supervisor. Now in this part, I'm gonna talk about, and this will be the last thing until part 2, how this all works. Okay. So like I said before, when you're going to look out for these companies to work for, they're staffing agencies. And how that works is they're basically the recruiting and they're recruiting. So let's try to make this as simple as possible. They're recruiters. And what their job is to find people like you and me that have the skills that the companies need. And a lot of these companies that are staffing agencies, they do more than just warehousing and stuff. They also branch off into CNAs, like you may see in travel to CNAs and stuff. They have a lot of stuff that people can do. So, depending on the company and their reputation, it might be like crisis response, like pandemic. People are losing employees because all of them getting sick. We would go and support them. There's also like strikes. We go. The people don't want to work, and for whatever reason, we go and support. That is our job. So prepare yourself for things like that, because mostly what I've been doing is just people getting either too sick to work, or too many people in their job getting sick to work, or not people actually not going to work. Because I had an assignment that lasted only a month, and that was the case. Nobody wanted to work because in this particular state they get a lot of money in unemployment, so that was the issue. So it was real chill. It was pretty laid back. So that's how that works. So they go look for these people like us, and they be like, okay, so this company needs people. They kind of branch out depending on what company, because they can have several companies in their belt. So they be like, okay, this company needs you. Like I'm working on a working for FHI right now. I'm trying to get in with them, and so say I get into FHI, which I know would be no problem. Now, okay, I'm in. Now, how are these? A question you might have is, how is all this paid for? You may or may not have it. This is how it works. The company that needs you, it could be Pepsi, it could be Coke, United Natural Foods, it could be this warehouse, that warehouse. Whatever company needs you is paying for this. They're paying the staffing agency to find people. They're paying the staffing agency per person that they've got on this assignment. They're paying for the rooms. They're paying for the per diems, the transportation, because for drivers for the transportation. All this is being paid for by the company that needs the staffing. So that's why you might come in to people being like just mean and jerks, because they essentially losing money in a sense, if you know what I mean, because they gotta pay for all this shit, and that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. That shit adds up, So just keep that in mind as well. If you ever run across people being mean and jerks to you, at least in upper management, it's because they're losing money. Or at least burning through it bad, They're down bad. So that's all I want to talk about. And in the next video, stay tuned. I'm going to talk to y'all and go through a contract, because I want to be as detailed as possible. So stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to get started on the next thing, part 2, Travel Selection 101.